Well, hello there, my friends. Today I'm introducing you to a game known as Evil Bank Manager. The general goal of the game is to play as an actual nation and hopefully take over the International Monetary Fund, also known as the IMF, the World Bank. In this case, we need to take 51% of shares of the International Monetary Fund to win. Now, as you can see here, there are different selections for countries, and each of the countries sort of has their own bonuses, their own sort of strengths. In this case, we're going to play with Glorious France, just to give you guys the basics of the game itself, so you guys can get better acquainted with exactly what Evil Bank Manager is about. The title is a little bit confusing because this really is quite realistic in terms of the world economy and how it operates, and this game tries to show this, certainly in medieval times. Now, one of the more interesting things about the game is that it does offer a tutorial. It also offers this tutorial teacher here, and she occasionally will give you some really good advice. Now, the game consists of a number of different things. Right now, the Federal Reserve System has not commenced, but eventually it will. And what we want to do is we want to get people in basically good positions to generate an income. Right now we have 50,000 gold. The first thing we want to go is to our investment building. We're going to open the window of the investment building, and we can see right now we have no offers. That's because we don't have anybody working there, so we need to hire an investor, guys. And this is an amateur investor. As you can see, he's got 5 investment skill. You can ferry these guys around to your different departments depending on how well they do in certain departments or how poorly they do in others. We're also going to get some guys to actually hire guards. Now, the amazing thing about this is since we are functioning as a sort of bank, these guards can actually collect funds if people refuse to pay us. We're also going to go ahead and add some guys into espionage because, let's face it, what would a bank be without some secret agents that can pay off governments? And that's also an integral part of the game, guys. You want to make sure that you get these agents, that you can pay off governments, get good relationships with them, and your value in those countries is obviously going to rise. The potential to purchase weapons, of course, for your guards is an integral part of the game, but right now we just want to open up the world map and purchase basically a location where we can start trading. The amount of places you can trade in this game is tremendous. As you can see, the Holy Roman Empire has each of the individual German states here, that are independent, but as you can see, we just don't have enough really to purchase these areas yet. We could even go into the Far East, guys, all the way to India and even Korea, China, all this stuff. And I'm thinking maybe we want to try and develop a relationship with one of these nations as they're somewhat more impoverished, but at the same time they have some really great resources, furs, spices, etc. And guys, these important resources are worth a lot more to us. So we're actually going to open up a trade route in Champa. This is actually, basically we've opened up a bank here, and now we can commence essentially buying property. That property really makes up the very center of our existence, if that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to make some investments here, my friends. And it looks like in Champa we can buy a house. It's just a house, standard house. Probably get some rent on it. And we're not going to be producing any resources from that, unfortunately. We're really just essentially paying for it until somebody starts paying us a little bit of rent. I'm going to jump back into the investment department, and we're going to go ahead and purchase yet another investment. This time, it's going to be an iron ore mine. Now, this is great, guys, because we're actually going to be producing resources, and over time, we can sell those resources at the exchange for a profit. Over here, we can see the wars in the world, and you can sort of levy these wars against each other. So potentially these countries, guys, are going to need resources during wars. So if a country's at war, it's a perfect time to maybe move in, purchase some property, and sell off some resources, of course. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next turn. I want to keep on purchasing stuff here in the investment option, and fur manufacturing works are great, but here's the thing, guys. In this game, if you fall below 0 gold, you lose automatically. So we're not in a position to be able to do that. We will sell all. I'd love to buy that fur farm, but I'm afraid that we'll actually go bankrupt next turn. So I'm not necessarily going to make that move. As it says here, we can actually create a new batch of weapons at the weapons department, and that's because we have resources, but I'm going to wait a little bit, and over time, we'll certainly consider that batch of weapons. We also want to purchase new areas, new locations. We don't just want to stay in one location, but the more investments you get in that one location, obviously, the more control you have. let's get this logger's hut. That's going to be great, guys. We're going to get some wood every turn. We can definitely use that to produce some weapons. Just in case somebody decides not to pay us, we can get back at them by sending our guards after them. So let's actually just go ahead and get some crossbows. We'll get a few halberds and a few swords. I don't really like doing this, I'll be honest with you, because it's quite expensive. But as you can see, now we have a bunch of these weapons available, just in case we need to get some money back. It looks like war began with White Ruthenia and Lithuania and the Okarus regions, but we're not in a position to really purchase anything here. As far as I can see, opening up a trade route would be 358,000, guys. So as you can see, some places are obviously worth more than others. Another interesting thing here, guys, if we go to espionage, we can start to improve our relationship with certain countries, and that's determined by influence up here. And this is basically their opinion of our bank. Right now, the people of Champa don't trust our bank too much, but once we actually get that past the neutral zone and into positive, we're going to be making a bigger profit, people are going to like us more, etc. So it's all very, very important. Now, so far, the IMF has not opened up, guys, but we're going to continue playing until it does. For now, I'm just selling off some of my excess goods to hopefully purchase more property here in Champa, and you'll see how the IMF system works. Really, the way it works, honestly, is that you have sort of a lottery. And in this lottery, the first person to purchase a set number of shares gets it. But early in the game, you don't exactly have too many shares, right? It takes some time to really develop them and to get enough money to purchase them. So that's what we're working on right now, guys. At any point, you can sell your properties if things aren't going on so well for you. And we can also see if we have any overdue loans, but it looks like things are okay. Let's see if we can also give credit to Champa. We have a credit department, so we're going to actually offer them some money. Obviously, they're going to pay us interest, which means they're going to pay us a little more than we gave them after a set amount of time. And if they don't, well, then that's where things get fun, guys, and we can actually go to war with Champa, demand our funds back, and get these funds back for our glorious, glorious bank. Look how cheap that is. That's just basic land allotment, but it does produce grain. So I'm going to continue going, and I'm going to sell off these excess goods at the exchange. And look at that, guys. We're now at 21,000. You know, over time in this game, you learn different tricks to improve how you do. You can even get, you know, sort of luxury resources over time. But keep in mind that the game lasts a maximum of 200 turns. That's it. It's kind of interesting. So, you know, you really have to do everything within 200 turns. Sounds easy, but it's actually not. There's so much to do and so little time to do it. And obviously, at the same time, you have to be purchasing IMF shares. So I really enjoy the game. I would absolutely recommend it at this point. It's enjoyable. It's fun. If you're fascinated by the economy and that sort of thing, I know that can often be kind of boring to a lot of people. But if you're into it, I think you're going to absolutely adore this game. Here we go. Let's exchange. We're going to sell all. And I'm going to try to open up yet another country, guys. This is East Prussia. That's pretty cool. We can actually open up East Prussia for 27,000, the Teutonic Order. Now, the issue with the Teutonic Order is they're not going to be around for long. Let's be honest. You know, they're going to be wiped out eventually here. So in the time we have left with them, we need to start purchasing some property. And it looks like right now our actual resources are not coming in. I'm not sure if it's because it's winter. Yeah, there we go. I think it's because it's winter time. Our resources were not coming in. We definitely need to worry about that. Okay, so you can see the gold dropping, guys, but as long as those resources keep piling up, I'm a happy, happy banker. I'm going to sell all of that, and eventually we will be purchasing some land in Prussia from the Teutonic Order, of course. Yeah, improving our influence with them is going to take a lot longer, I think. They're not so easy to please. We have turn 45 about, and I'm surprised the IMF hasn't popped open. But I think maybe it's turn 50 that it actually opens up officially. And at that point, guys, the amount of different people vying for shares is amazing. I mean, all the countries you saw there get a chance at these shares. They're all represented by banks, and it really just shows the inner workings of world economy, pretty simply. Okay, here we go, guys. This is control over the IMF. And as you can see here, the trading rules are quite simple. The bidding's going to start. We're going to try to purchase the auction before anyone else. This is 5% of the share, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to buy it before us. because that's a pretty pricey allotment, and Banco Generale, an Italian bank, won that. So now they own 5% of the IMF fund. Each turn is going to be a bit different. So sometimes, for instance, the share might be 1%, sometimes it might be 10%. And at that point, you need to have that gold available to start purchasing shares when you obviously need to. Now let's go ahead and... Oh, the fur farm in East Prussia. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I really want to buy it too because it's pretty awesome. Fur is a luxury resource. It's going to bring you bonuses in terms of your income. So I'm going to jump in here. Anyway, guys, my final sort of... I guess, opinion on this game is I absolutely recommend it. Really enjoyable game. If you want something even more in depth where you can focus fully on diplomacy and control of different regions, you're probably going to want to go with something more like Europa Universalis 4. But I think for somebody just focusing on economy, this is something you're really going to enjoy. It's a quick game too, you know, like I said, 200 turns, so it's not going to take all day to play. At the same time, you are controlling a massive, massive entity, in this case being a bank. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and please subscribe to this channel for more strategy games in the future. I'll catch you on the next one, guys.